We are here, the Neil Haley Show, Caregiver Dave celebrity segment. And Dave, I'm still trying to get better from Vegas. It wasn't because of partying. It was because of how they worked me. When you go out with a client and you have to take care of all these different logistics, exhausting and all that stuff. And I'm back here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, while you're in the nice, beautiful Los Angeles, California. Go ahead and introduce our guest. I know you're excited. This is the first time ever. I don't have to be the producer. You know the kind of questions to ask. There you go. You and your wife watch the show all the time. So go ahead and tell us who our guest is.
We're addicted to Idol, and we were so sad when it went off the air, but now it's back. And so here's the official introduction to our guest, a powerhouse vocalist whose incredible stage presence and vocal maturity rank with the best. Elise Testone is the perfect combination of soul, rock, attitude, and restraint. Equally as impressive and at ease, belting James Brown-style vocals over a relentless funk groove as she is resting her voice gently over a ballad. It's like poetry. Testone's range of influences and vocal capacity, no few limits. Welcome to the show, Elise.
Thank you. Nice to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. I'm a big fan of Idol, big fan of yours. And I got to just say right off the bat, you were robbed. And I think J-Lo agrees.
Yeah, she was always cool.
Not taking anything away from Phil Phillips, but you were great, and loved the duet you guys did. Loved everything you did. I haven't heard anything that I didn't like. So let's start right out. Did you always believe that you were going to be like this successful songwriter, song performer, successful period?
That's an interesting way to put it. I would say that I definitely came out of the womb singing. It's kind of like I have to do it, you know. It's kind of another form of breathing for me. If I don't do it, I get real weird, real depressed. I don't feel like myself. So it's a really natural thing for me to do. But success, I guess that means, me using my craft in a way that still it keeps me happy without compromising my beliefs. Yes, I do feel like I am doing that. I
define success as just doing what you were created to do.
Yes, and
your
that's
destiny.
Wow, that's fantastic. And Elise, when you saw the process of how you were going, and you said you were doing something you love, but you didn't think the journey that you ended up going on was that journey, right? When you wanted to be in music and songwrite, you never knew a platform like American Idol was going to take you off, right?
I actually in a million years never would have thought I would have done that show, to be honest. I remember at the time I was hustling and working, like 12 gigs a week at times and teaching during the day. And I don't even think I slept that year. And then they came to my city and they said, we want you to audition. And
how old were you?
Why not? So it was interesting. It was an interesting turn of events because I really don't watch a lot of TV in general, let alone reality shows. But I really am grateful for that platform, and that it was kind of like a stepping stone for me, which is interesting because a lot of people look at it like the end all of your life, when you don't win, people are patting you with like sympathy, like, you did good. I'm like, well, I'm not dead,
So they came to Columbia or Charleston. Where'd they come?
It was either Savannah or Charleston. I think they said it was Charleston, but I think the first audition.
I've been to all of those cities because I did shows down there, and I did a book signing in Mount Pleasant. Mm-hmm. So I'm one of the few people who know where that is. So I know you were good right out of the womb, but how good were you compared to how good you are now when you went to Idol? And how old were you?
I was 27 when they approached me. So, mature. That's the age where like all artists not live anymore. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to die, I might as well, No, sorry. That was.
So where'd you rank in there?
I got 6th place on Idol.
Well, I know that. I mean, your own opinion of your voice and how it was, where it was, how far did Idol catapult your development with your voice?
How do I answer this? Well, I think I'm definitely the best now that I've been as a vocalist. But at the time of Idol, a lot of people didn't know, but I had a lot of issues with my vocal cords. And the way the schedule is there, we didn't really have the proper time to warm up or do things in the best way physically for your voice. So I actually feel like on that show was maybe not all my best performances. So it's really great that I got as far as I did. I'm really happy about that. But now that I'm not on it, and, I'm healthier and I'm growing and I'm learning constantly how to kind of trim the fat off of how much I'm singing. Sure. If you know what I mean, not over singing, because it's easy for me to just go off on runs, because that's one thing I feel like I've always been blessed to be good at. But now I'm just kind of more focused on the service of the song, and my vocal power, I think, has increased.
Yeah. Well,
what did you learn? What did you learn from American Idol? How to become a better singer and songwriter? Because again, working with such amazing people on this platform and getting judged, you learned specific key things to become better at what you do as a performer. What did you learn?
I think for me, what I got out of it was more so the mental stability, being prepared to deal with the stress or the pressure, the anxiety of being a performer versus actually anyone showing me technique. Because, you know what I'm saying? I think that was what I got out of it a lot, finding a balance, doing service to the song, more so than technique itself, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. No, a lot of people broke down during those grueling times. I mean, they had great voices and everything was great, but they just could not handle the stress, and so they were out.
Yeah,
so that's huge.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. And it's hard, I'm never nervous. I think the biggest crowd I performed live was the MLS, the Major League Soccer Cup. It was David Beckham's last game. I did the national anthem. It was 30,000. And wow. I'm more calm doing that than a room full of 15 people for some reason. That was always fine, but it was always the getting judged when you're done, and just kind of keeping your head up and not letting my emotions show so much if I don't agree, or I think sometimes I probably came across the wrong way, and so that was a learning experience for sure.
Well, let's talk about your fellow contestants. Everyone always says how nice everybody is, and it's just one big happy family. I mean, is that really true, or are they just all, bloodthirsty competitors? And I hope you go down. Or do you cry when a friend of yours, doesn't make it and they got to go home?
I did. I cried when mostly for two people, DeAndre Breckensick, who I think is one of the best singers in the world.
Yeah.
Hee-Jun Han. And Erica Van Pelt, we were probably the closest. I was really close with Philip in the beginning, but I don't know. He just he's doing his own thing now. So
sure.
now, when you talk about close, tell us what happens in between each week and how the process goes and what you do throughout that week. If I'm back on American Idol for another week, what types of stuff did you do with the contestants throughout that time?
I want to start by saying that was 9 years ago, and I think I have early Alzheimer's, so I'll just...
Then you can use Caregiver Day for that too, but go ahead.
Yeah. It was a whirlwind, probably, yeah.
Well, it was a very interesting process because you started with about 120,000 people.
Wow.
You got the cattle call, however many people in that city. And then it kind of keeps narrowing down. So it was really fun because you got to know all different sorts of people, and you bond instantly because you all have this similar goals, similar paths you're pursuing. So I really was, everyone that I encountered, I pretty much became friends with. And, I put any of my ego aside and just tried to work with those people the best I could and really get the most out of that experience. So we, the group things, the group performances, if I can remember this, really bonded with them on that. I have a lot of band leading skills, so I ended up kind of taking some of the reins sometimes with those things because I was ancient compared to everybody on the show. So that was cool. That was fun to share that with people and work as a team. And then as it, got down and was stressful, we would have like rooming together and stuff like that was really fun, getting to know different people, sharing close quarters, like in a hotel room.
So I'm sure there was some romance going on between some of the contestants. How about
yeah, there was some. Definitely not.
During your and Phil's duet, it almost looked like there were some sparks going on, like you made him embarrassed. He started turning red.
He actually always had the same girlfriend from
yeah,
forever.
Sony sang Somebody I Used to Know. That was a cool song.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was fun. I always liked singing with him, and I always liked him. But it was never like that.
Yeah.
No, but we were good friends.
Well, were you trying to emulate any particular artist? I know you came singing out of the womb. Who did you listen to? Who is your favorite?
My dad, he collects and repairs jukeboxes my whole life since he was like 18.
Wow.
So all growing up, he'd always be blasting records. We'd have like 20 different jukeboxes at a time. He'd be working on them, blasting like Queen, Beatles, old school doo-wop stuff, some jazz. So all of that stuff really, like, sounds are really crazy. I really ingest sounds. Anything I hear, I hear everything. It's sometimes a curse. But so whatever he would play, it just kind of like sunk into my body, So I was really influenced by more old school stuff, I would say.
Yeah.
Like old soul, Michael Jackson and all that. I don't care what anybody says about Michael Jackson. I love him.
Yeah, I love him too.
Yeah.
So you're just being you. You're not really copying anybody's style or genre or anything.
I don't feel like I try not to do that. I do some tribute shows. For example, I do like once a year I'll do like a little tour of Amy Winehouse, like a 10-piece band, an all-star band I'll put together, and then I'll throw all my original stuff into that show. But I never try. I don't like listen to every single way she turns a note. I don't copy her. I just capture like the essence, and like I find the connection, and I emulate that.
Well, I love your voice, and it's very recognizable. I know when I hear it that it's you. So that's cool.
Yeah, that most definitely. And Dave's a huge fan in that way. How did you deal with, once you got on American Idol, the fans now being recognized? That was 9 years ago. Again, I keep asking 9-year questions, but again, it is what it is. With wherever you go in your music career, American Idol will always come up in the title, regardless if you at one point, land another top single, or opportunity comes where you've written some huge song, or a movie comes out with your music. What do you think? So tell me a little bit about that.
Wait.
Yeah, the question where I'm going at is, how did you handle all that stardom and the fans and starting to build fans and following 9 years ago?
Well, actually, I was kind of excited about it. Well, first I have to understand that fame to me is sacrificing your privacy, basically. It's not really, some people I want to be famous. I want to be famous, and they don't understand like the responsibility of what that is. So I was actually really excited about all the fans and the people that would just get happy when I would just walk into a room, and to see them being happy when I barely did anything, I just show up somewhere and people are happy at that time. That was really cool for me. It wasn't really overwhelming unless somebody grabbed me, because that happens sometimes. I didn't really like that. But other than that, I really was receptive to the fans, and I got a friend of mine who actually passed away. One of the songs is about her on the album. But at the time I got her to help me like make sure I answered people and really like paid attention to as many people as I could on a personal level, because it was amazing that I could impact them in any sort of way,
Mm. Yeah. So you've got a couple of albums now, right?
Yeah, this is my second album, and then I also have 3 singles, and then I'm on other people's work as well that just came out this year too.
There's so much talent. I'm sorry to keep talking about Idol, but there's so much talent on Idol. Any one of those top 10 are winners, as far as I'm concerned, and many of them have record deals today. I checked to see how many albums Phil Phillips has. I could only find 2. Is that true? So you're doing as well as he is.
Yeah, and I'm doing it all on my own. I mean, he has the label. I think for the deal,
so you're working harder.
So I'm better than him. No, I'm kidding. No, but I think the big deal, like when you win, is you have to give them 2 albums under contract.
I see.
But I don't really remember. I mean, I don't know. It could have been different for him, but that's what I remember from that.
Now, Lise, you got to be excited. Second album out today. So I appreciate you taking the time as it's released today to talk to us. It's an honor for sure to you even consider us, but you're really excited about this, right? The new album.
I'm really excited. I decided to do the album release show in Charleston because that's kind of where, my second home is.
Yeah.
Where I feel like I kind of found my wings in a way. So yeah, I flew down here to do it here first, and the band is fantastic. I got a 12-piece band, horns, backup singers, special gas, percussion, and there's a huge buzz in the city. And I don't know if you've been to Charleston, but it's a really amazing. You said you had. It's an amazing city.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so thrilled. Load-ins at 5 p.m. So you got me at a good time.
Now, I was born in Brooklyn too, and that's no stranger to you as well, right?
That's where I live now. Yeah.
Ah, what area? What borough? I mean, not borough, but what neighborhood? I came from Prospect Park and Bay Ridge. Is that anywhere near you?
Yeah, Bushwick is kind of near.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah, not too far.
So tell us about the album that you're launching today.
The album, it's actually only 6 songs. I went, it's a shorter album. I guess maybe technically it's an EP, but we're going with album. And I have a lot of special guests on there. Daru Jones, he played drums with Jack White and Pete Rock, and he's like hip hop and rock. So I specifically wanted his sound for a couple of my songs because it really fit the vibe of what I wanted to create. I have Robert Seawright on 3 tracks. He played with Beyonce, Snoop Dogg, Kim Burrell in the gospel scene. He runs the band called Ghost Note, and he played in Snarky Puppy. I got the guitar phenomenon. He just turned 16, but he was 14 when we wrote the song. Brandon Taz Niederauer. He starred in School of Rock on Broadway. He's been on Ellen. He played with Lady Gaga. He's fantastic. He's like one of my best friends.
Wow.
And Mono Neon, the last bass player to play with Prince. Also crazy, weird, amazing music he's producing. Huge cult following for him. But these are all my friends and people that I really admire and who have influenced me. So it was a collaborative effort. To say the least, and there are co-writes, and there's a lot of other people on it too. Lauryn Hill's guitar player, a lot of people.
So how'd you come up with the title of the album, This Is Love?
Well, I was sitting on the album, and I was like, I was just waiting for it to start. Like, what the hell am I going to call this album? And there's a line in the song, Something Told Me, it's a ballad on there, it's the 5th song, where I'm talking about like the idea of like when you think you're in love with someone because of that like passion and all the back and forth, and maybe it's love and maybe it isn't, but you think it is because of that high rest passion. And when you finally have it, and this is it, this is love. But honestly, when I reflect on the songs, it's kind of like the love for me. Love is different for everyone, and it starts with like self-love. The first song.
Yeah. That's a caregiver message.
Yeah, like keeping your head up, like knowing who you are, like using your voice, and then relationships, and then relationships with managers, and then the love of my friend who passed away, and that kind of love, friendship, and then business. The last one's about a business where people didn't treat me right, but it's just this is love, this is what I've experienced, but also interesting because still looking for.
Well, it goes along in the same theme as your last album. This is life. Now this is love. I'm wondering what the next one's going to be.
I know, right? Yeah, but I did actually just write a song that's a little bit more on a political level, and for NPR Tiny Desk. I'm excited to work to get that out, but we can talk about that later.
So what are your goals as a musician and songwriter? What do you want to accomplish in your career?
I really just want to get to a point where, like I was saying before, kind of similar, where I don't want to compromise what I believe to do what I love, but be more comfortable. I'd love to keep moving forward, and I feel like I am. I guess my goal, what would be ideal for me, is to play like 800 cap rooms. I don't need to play arena shows, but I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I like the more lower, like intimate, but not too small kind of vibe, where the music is respected and people really want to hear the music, and it's not just wasted people in the bar, just doing what I love to people who really appreciate what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. So when are you going to be in LA? I want to see you.
I was just there in January. I always go in January. I do the NAMM show, and then I record with Vic Firth, the drum company.
Uh-huh.
There's actually amazing videos coming out. They come out every year, and I'm a part of this big production. And they actually the last one went viral with Stevie Wonder's drummer.
Wow.
You should check it out.
How about New York? When's your next New York gig?
My album release in New York is May 19th.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're gonna be all over the place for sure. Best place we can find information on you. Then Dave has the final question, as he always does for the show, to help do that. But what is where can we find info, find the album, all that stuff? Where's the best place?
The album is everywhere. EliseTestone.com is my website. I think I need to add the album on there. Good. Thank you for asking me that. But the album is everywhere. All digital platforms, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Bandcamp, Spotify, SoundCloud. And then on Bandcamp, you can order like a hard copy of it. And then I'm working on vinyl. So I'll probably have vinyl by September.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So Dave has the final question, and his questions involving caregiving. He has a tremendous story. Dave, tell your story really quick and ask the final question.
All right.
I'm just a normal guy going along. My wife gets a headache one day and turns into a stroke. Aww. She loses her speech, paralyzed on the right side. This was like 22 years ago. And after we get depressed for a couple of years, we decide to embrace the new normal. She makes us normal people look like whiners and complainers, and I'm traveling the world just sharing my message, how to prevent your loved one's illness or disease from killing you. Don't make the same mistakes I made, So I go around asking people, are you prepared for caregiving? Because you're either going to become one or you're going to need one, and now's the time to learn how to be one. So in your life, any caregivers, parents, grandparents, are they getting up there in years, needing care?
Yeah, my great aunt actually just got diagnosed with dementia, and she's adorable. She's got wit for days, so she's still hilarious. Our conversations are just jokes, but she's definitely having trouble,
Yeah.
And I've lost my other grandparents.
Who's caring for your aunt?
Well, this is kind of a new thing, so we're I guess
figuring it out, huh?
Figuring that out, but she does live with my cousin, her daughter.
All right. Well, make sure you send him over to caregiverdave.com, and we'll teach him how to stay alive and stay out of the hospital, because 30% of them actually die and the rest of them become sicker. And that's my mission, just helping caregivers put their needs first. Like you said before, put your oxygen mask on first so that you can take care of everybody. Otherwise, you're both going down.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
You know what? You are a very fun interview, by the way. Very, very interactive. Are you going to do some acting someday? You seem like you're an actor too.
Oh my God. I did a play in LA actually last April, and the guy told me I only had to say a couple words, and I was like, all right, fine. Cause I don't know if I'm good at acting cause I'm so honest. It's hard for me sometimes to hide my emotions. That's the only thing. So, and it ended up that I had a lot more than one line, and I'm not really sure I'm good at it.
You never know. Try anything. You never know. You got to be a jack of all trades in the industry of entertainment, so you never know what you'll do next or what opportunity will come. And
everybody's trying.
Former American Idol contestants. I bet you that will come at one point. Or did I just come up with that idea? But from the former Idol, because what do you think of the difference between the original Idol and this new one? Your opinion.
I am not good at lying. I haven't seen it.
Okay, there you go.
Well, so you can ask me that question, Neil.
Okay, Dave, you answer that question then.
I say it's identical. I love the judges, so kudos. The last one's got a 10. These guys have a 10.
Okay. All right. I have not. I watched the first one, and I had one of the original American Idol winners. Yeah. And you asked me who was it, and then my brain is just fried at this point in time. But I appreciate you guys coming on. You guys have a nice holiday, and we will touch base again. And if you're ever in Pittsburgh, look me up. But Dave, you have a better chance of being in LA than Pittsburgh. That's what I'll be the only nationally syndicated radio host ever in Pittsburgh, especially with all the news shows coming and everything, and say, I'm from Pittsburgh. Oh, you're in LA, New York? No, Pittsburgh. But I'm carrying the banner well. So at least thanks for calling.
Somebody's got to be from Pittsburgh.
And best of luck, and thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm coming through Philly. I don't know how far that's probably.
Yeah. See, that's the only problem. Philly is Pittsburgh are far differences, but I'm happy to have you on again to promote anything you're doing in Philly down the line or whatever. Just reach out to me, and thanks for calling.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks again. All right. See you.
All
right. Bye-bye. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That was Neil Haley Show. Take care, everyone.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment. And I love talking to this guy. He's so much fun, and it's exciting about how the dog shows have kept going and getting larger and larger in scale in the two different shows that he does. So I'm excited to welcome to the program John O'Hurley of NBC's The Beverly Hills Dog Show. John, how are you? And thanks for calling.
Very, very well. I'm excited about what we're going to have on Easter Sunday. How about this, huh?
Yeah, it's exciting for sure. Let's kind of go into specifically enough. You got started again the Thanksgiving dog show, and it's just grown from there, hasn't it, John?
It has.
Hosting that, yeah.
Yeah, it's been just an extraordinary echelon, really. It started off, we were lucky enough with 19 million people that first year back in 2002, and this year we had over 32 million people watching it. So it has grown in its scope and in its audience, and we're hoping that some of this will bleed over into a wonderful day on Easter, because we're going to have the Beverly Hills Dog Show presented by Purina. Same 2,000 dogs, 180 different breeds, and all vying for best in show on a great family day, and it gives everybody something to watch on television.
Exactly. And before the Beverly Hills Dog Show was a different day then. Is that correct, John? That you were doing
I'm sorry, what?
Years. But you've been doing the show.
Yeah, this is the first time on NBC. We had it on USA for the first 2 years, and they just wanted to see how it did there. They were very pleased with the results of the show, and it'll ramp up now that NBC's promotion department has gotten a hold of it, and we put together quite a good show as well.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the exciting thing about it. And Easter now, another family day to watch something that's so entertaining, and that's why the show is so good, right? Having the whole family and watching.
Yeah. Whether you're 4 or you're 94, there's something you can watch. On everybody loves their dogs, and hopefully you're rooting for what we like to call the alma mater factor, which is that dog that's sitting right next to you on the couch.
Oh, exactly. The dog that's sitting next to the couch, for sure. And what is your favorite dog, John, in all the years you've been doing the show?
Well, every year I'm a fan of the Irish Setter, and it's not because that would be a dog that I would particularly, with my lifestyle, would be advantageous for me, but I do like the idea of when the dog walks into the arena, it just stuns everybody because it's just so elegant the way it comes in. The head is always held very erect. You have this beautiful flowing coat, this auburn color, against whatever color rug it is. And my joke is that it always looks like the redhead that just walked into the cocktail party, and every head turns.
And it's funny, you guys hosted it, you and David, for years, but now there's so much more coverage, right? So many other people involved in the show than when you first did the show, isn't it? True, John? The dog show.
It's going to be, yes. So many more. Well, we have so many more breeds now. We have over 200 different breeds that are recognized by the AKC, and more dogs are coming now to these shows because it's becoming a much more family-style sport, if you'll call it that. So many more people are trying to get involved in it, and excellence begets excellence, I guess.
And the coverage of the rest of your team, that you'll have special guests for this for the show, especially Mario Lopez, Shaun White, Ashley Tisdale, and more, right? And that's great to have a bunch of people.
The beautiful Bo Derek is there. We have Sean White is there with his dog. A lot of people show up with their dogs. They show up with their kids. It's just a great fun event to celebrate not only the glamour of Tinseltown, but also to celebrate the rich history of the canine participation in the world of entertainment. Rin Tin Tin, Lassie, 101 Dalmatians, just dog after dog after dog has been a star in Hollywood, and for this one day, they are stars again.
And how have you improved in your years of being an announcer for the show? Have you learned more and more about the whole judging process and become more knowledgeable? Yeah, go ahead.
I should. I think with the osmosis of 18 years, but I got to tell you, in the long run, I'm still just another bozo on the bus. I have a good time with it, and I try to have make as much humor out of it as I possibly can to kind of round the edges off and have a lot of fun with it.
Real interesting. But what's interesting when you and David do the show, David's the real expert from the years he's done it. But the fact is, John, you're the commentator. It's like the way you guys work together is very, very interesting, in my opinion, especially when usually the person that does the play-by-play is the real knowledgeable person sometimes in the thing, and then you guys kind of play back and forth together.
Well, we do.
You work really well as a team.
Yeah, well, thank you for noticing it, and thank you for mentioning it. We have a wonderful camaraderie together, and it carries off camera as well. David and I have been dear friends since we met each other, and we continue on with the success, hopefully, of the Beverly Hills show as well, to include not only what we do on camera, but also in our support of all of the other things that we're involved with, which is the therapy dogs, shelter dogs, and David and I are both very supportive of that together as a team.
In the process of preparing for a big show like this, tell us what goes on, like before preparing yourselves, you and David, to be able to go on the air on Easter. Sure.
Well, preparing an event like this for television is enormous because, remember, this is a huge arena. It's kind of the size of a basketball court, and or even larger actually, and you have a large arena of people. So preparing that for television and getting those certain type of shots that you need to get to make it a good television event is a wonderfully difficult and challenging operation for our technical crew. But for David and I, it's every year we have new breeds that are being brought in, so we have to become very, very familiar with the new breeds. Every time a dog is selected for the Best in Show, we've got to know those breeds, backwards and forwards. And there's over 200 of them for them to choose from. So it's a lot of research work, but a lot of fun. And every year we love the idea of introducing new dogs to the world of dog shows.
And people come up to you all the time asking you about, hey, I hope my dog wins, right? That's the nice thing about the growth of it is, will my dog win? Do you have any chance to help me, right, John? Because they're all rooting for the dog sitting next to them. Yeah.
Fortunately, it's well out of my hands. It's in the hands of people that, for the judges, that's, I can't underscore how bright they have to be in assimilating all of the information, the database that goes in with each of these breeds. Remember, they've got to know when you have a Best in Show judge, he's got to know and have a comfortable working knowledge of 200 different breeds. To be able to make a judgment on whether this is the best specimen of that breed. So, to say that they have to be kind of a walking computer is really an understatement.
And the amount of preparation they go through is crazy for sure as well. And it's great, again, the work that you and David are doing with charity work as well. So it's not just about these two big, gigantic shows. It's about really helping animals in general, especially dogs, and the process of, the best environment for them, and also, as you talked about, the work with therapy dogs. I got a story for you, John. I was flying into Las Vegas for the NAB, and I was flying Southwest, and I'm 6'10", and I had to sit next to a therapy dog, luckily, so I could get a bigger seat. And it was really interesting. They had a big contest. This guy trains dogs, and it's tremendous work what they do, how therapy dogs help people so much, especially this guy has PTSD. Yeah, and he's trying to train
they really.
So it's amazing.
Dogs have done so much in our lives, in addition to being just great normal companions for the average family. Dogs do specialty work that is just extraordinary in terms of search and rescue efforts, the canine dogs for the police and the military, therapy dogs for the kids in the hospitals that have cancer and other things, and mentally ill or have been abused. They're wonderful facilitators in that regard. For our veterans, they do wonderful things as well. They're also, even in the medical arena, where they're being used now to be able to, dogs can sense epileptic seizures prior to happening, so that they can now then prepare the person that's having the seizure to be safe. So I mean, they're just dogs are marvelous things, and that they are the perfect companion to the human being, and they show that to us every day with the fact that they are so focused on just giving us their love.
So, any new projects going on, John? Also, you want to promote that are coming up for you?
Sure. I have my one-man show that I'm touring around the country a bit, called A Man with Standards. It's my one-man musical show that I wrote, and was nominated for Best Show out of New York last year, and been doing that. I'll be down in Annapolis, Maryland, next Thursday night, doing that show on April 25th, and then I'll be touring a little bit more with that show, and then I head off for Greece for most of the month of May to film over there, doing a brand new film over there, so that'll be fun, and then I'm taking the rest of the summer off.
Well, you're doing a lot of things. It's very interesting, and you continue always. And we always will remember you for Seinfeld. And I know that, that character, I'm sure everyone talks about all the time still, John. Even though it was a guest star appearance, people will never forget it.
Well, I had a wonderful run for 5 seasons on the show. And, Peterman was a lot of fun. It was nice to be able to put on that outfit every week for the show.
And what is your favorite saying, would you say, in Seinfeld that you said on the show? What would you say was your favorite line?
Oh, probably in the wedding cake episode when I turn to Elaine and I say to her, Elaine, do you have any idea what happens to a butter-based frosting after 6 decades in a poorly ventilated British basement? I think what you're about to go through will be punishment enough. Good day.
That you're the best, John. Best place we can find information on you. Everyone needs to tune in on April 21st, Easter Sunday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC. But best place we can check you out. Where can we go?
Oh, you can go to my Twitter site there. I am John O'Hurley.
All right. Thanks, John, for calling, and thanks for coming on the show.
Nice to talk to you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. You're listening to Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back.
We're back to Neil Haley Show on the Total Celebrity segment, and I tell you what, I remember this guy for one reason, and I knew I'd come up and talk about this, and that's The Drive. A huge Denver Bronco fan, was watching it, was giving up, and I could say I liked the Browns then too, because I don't think the Steelers were that good. They were an okay team, but they weren't good enough to go to that next level, and Anthony was tasting the Super Bowl, but again, I'm excited to welcome the program, former Cleveland Brown, Philadelphia Eagle, and Steeler personnel, Anthony Griggs. Anthony, how are you? And thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks, Neil. Really appreciate this opportunity to come on. This is great. Feeling good.
I know you're feeling good, and I think that we're gonna have like a bi-weekly segment to talk about different things that are important. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is one thing that you've been really working hard to do is to work with kids, especially in the summers. But you're trying to expand that to even more things. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, one of the things everybody obviously understands my background being in sports, and I've had such a rewarding experience with sports and the life lessons that it brings. And I've always tried to give back and talk about sports in that avenue is a positive thing. Now, I go to places and I talk, but I just try to make it so that kids and parents and communities, organizations, administrators understand that sports is a viable thing in our society that does have a positive benefits. And so I come up with a system called Life is a Sport, and you can win it. Life is a sport, and you can win it. And that is really just some life skills that I have had 6 elements in sports for you to train to really help kids to understand and parents understand about sports and what it can give you from a life skills standpoint. See, every athlete has to train, every athlete has to get ready to compete, and every athlete has to come with the right mindset. And there are 6 elements that involves. It involves your skill, your endurance, your speed, your conditioning, your diet, and your rest. And each of those, as an athlete, you will understand them or you heard about them or somebody's going to keep preaching them to you. But I think that they also apply to your life and life skills. Skill is the number one thing in sports, no matter how strong, no matter how fast. Your skill level is really going to be the separator for you in any sport, how much better at a skilled position you are than the person you're competing against. And also, that's the same in life. Your skill. What do you go to school for? What are you studying? What are you trying to be better at? So for me, I try to have it so that I can go out and I can talk to kids. I have different venues that do that in. Where we've had what we call Stepping Toward Success seminars where kids can come. We're going to have another one this summer or fall, where kids can come to a place and get those winning elements. The Life is a Sport Win It series. We have it one-on-one counseling. I've done one-on-one counseling with kids. I go in, I do assemblies. I go in and do special workshops where I'm there for a certain amount of hours or I'm there for a certain amount of weeks and kids come. So different venues, working with the Steelers have given me a great insight to a lot of things because I work with the Steelers in player development as their director of player development. It gave me a lot of life skills at the highest level. These guys, players, people, and shoes that I played in, that I've been a professional athlete, so I know some of the shortcomings too. And I see that it really starts with the kids at a young age of life skills. And so with that, I'm trying to put that out there a little bit more, trying to see. And there's a lot of organizations and businesses that help me do that. And you're one of them.
No, that definitely. And it's such an important thing to teach those life skills and bringing up the whole life as a sport, because there's adversity in sports. Not to mention the great season that your daughter had at IUP, but to have to take that loss in the Final Four where they all wanted to win the national championship, that's a life lesson, isn't it, Anthony?
Oh, yeah. You know, it's such a dynamic part of sports that people forget that it's entertainment, but it's not like reading a book, or it's not like going to see a movie or going to see a play or any kind of performance, because you're dealing with raw emotions. Things change so quick. Up, down, you're winning, you're losing, you lost, you won. You put so much into it, you put your feeling into it. So the raw emotions that are hanging in the balance from a game, when you are at that Final Four or you're in the championship game and you come up short, it does hurt you. It hurts. And then you keep playing. And it can happen at any level, from the Pee Wee leagues all the way up to professional leagues. My daughter and son, they play basketball, and I've been up and down the roads watching them in championship games from the state level to the national level. And losing is losing. And winning is winning. That's what you're in it for. And you compete. But there's really no guarantee. It's not a science. There's nothing to it. You can have all the strategies you want, but you got to execute. And the human element in it all is your variable that you really can't control. You have to have a great attitude. You have to do everything right. You have to put the shot up, expecting yourself to make it. And so is life. Life is the same way. When you take the shot, you got to believe you're going to make it. When you take the shot to try to be the best, you got to believe you're going to make it. When you go for the job, you got to believe you can get it. When you do things, you got to believe. And so that's an attitude, but it's such a variable attitude that can change because of the weather, because of your relationship, because of what you eat, because of so much, that if you can foresee yourself in certain situations, then you can go into it better and come out of it better. And therein lies a lot of what Life's a Sport, You Can Win It is all about. So my kids have learned a lot of things in sports. I've learned a lot of things. My wife's learned a lot of things, and it's been a great road to be on. It's been up and down, but it's just one of those things in life that kind of spells it all out that we don't, as a
You're
parent,
so right.
appreciate.
And the problem is that there are going to be those adversities. You're going to go to the pinnacle in certain ways, and then you're going to have your bad days. And in life, the same thing. And you got to teach kids that, hey, you're going to get a bad grade. You're going to break up with someone. You're going to lose a loved one. You're going to fall when you least expect to fall. But how do you respond is what sports is all about. The adversity to respond. Like, do you the next day you got to go out and train after you lose. You got to forget about what happened and move on to the next thing. In life, it's the same thing, and that's such a great point, Anthony, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's how it was with the drive, Neil. That's how it was at the drive and the fumble, okay?
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the fumble. That'll have to be for another episode. That was another one of my favorite sports moments. So you're going to really like me, Anthony, for sure, when I talk about that. Those two things. Okay, so that is awesome. People can check you out, and we'll talk about that at the end. But also, you have some things now really looking at responsibilities as individuals. You talk about life being a sport, but people have to have responsibilities and protect themselves. Explain a little bit about that, Anthony.
Yes, I think it's something that it's not just for kids. I think that's a great life lesson as a parent. That's what you want your kids to really get to, the responsibility of things. You still learn responsibility. As you get older, you keep gaining responsibility, you keep learning, you keep refining your responsibilities. But when you get older, there's a lot of things that start to happen, which is basically after 18, you become an adult and you're held a little bit more accountable to society. So with that, the legal system comes into play. Basically, it's no longer just punishment or you get in trouble at home. You can get in trouble with the law. And so I've been able to be with the company that allows people, make it affordable for people to have legal services at their disposal. Anything that's could be a speeding ticket, you can send in a copy of your speeding ticket, take a picture of it, send it in, and have an attorney look at it and give you some great advice and consult with you. You get into a rental situation, you want to buy a car, any type of agreement they can look at. So by having legal shield and legal protection, it allows you to feel a little bit more confident about some of the situations and relationships that you can get into on a day-to-day basis or month-to-month, depending on which you may not understand some things, and you can have somebody at a law level to understand it and really give it back to you so you can understand what you're getting into. And that's been so rewarding because
yes,
it's just a great way that people now feel empowered.
And I agree with you. And the fact is, I think about it in the business factor is I have it myself for my business because I've been through two possible legal things that were out of my control. One had to do with the copyright infringement. So anyone listening to this show, trust me, don't use someone's photo unless you have permission or you know they own it. Most photographers own their own photos. And I went through this with my interview with Newt Gingrich, that my webmaster decided to post a Getty image. He didn't know it was a Getty image. And good old something Francais Presse, that's what they're called, Francais Presse. They're out, the French, they're like one of the big, like Fox News for France. They went after me, and they had an organization, and it was never copyrighted. It wasn't a Getty image, and they never copyrighted the photo, but I had to hire a lawyer, and in just one conversation, sitting down for an hour, it was over $100. But get this, if I wanted him to finally settle it, but good news is he already investigated, I'm fine, there's no way, they're just threatening me, then they just like, the amount of money it would cost to file, it was going to be $350 for a photo that I'm just doing to promote Newt Gingrich. So what I'm saying to everyone out there, ladies and gentlemen, is that you need to have legal process. You need to have legal representation. And not all of us can afford, or is it even worth to have a lawyer on retainer? What are the costs for a lawyer on retainer, Anthony?
Oh, man, you're talking thousands of dollars. You're talking thousands of dollars, and they're usually for the big wigs. Celebrities try to have that, but it's a different world when you start having lawyers on retainers, and you have a different not in the mainstream of life and what things that affect you. You're usually using a lawyer. You have things coming at you from different angles because people see that you have that kind of wealth, and people are coming at you and suing you all pretty much on a daily or monthly basis. So you have that attorney. But for 80 cents a day, 80 cents a day or less than 80 cents a day, you can have the same calls and same consultations, the same representation, the same advice given to you to handle certain things, to make sure that your rights are covered and that they haven't been infringed upon. So it's been really rewarding with that.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, not even a lawyer on retainer, just to go ahead and say I have my lawyer and I'm going to contact them, and it's going to cost me thousands and thousands of dollars each year that could be saved for a business. It could be revenue for your business. I'm talking in a business factor, but just imagine so many businesses, how much money they spend on lawyers that they could just get Legal Shield, and they'd be in the same situation if they're a small business, instead of spending money on lawyers that could be profit for them.
Yeah, and small businesses, and you hit it. That's where I try to make the biggest impact on small businesses, people who have maybe 2 to 10 employees or less. And most small businesses, 70% of America, small businesses, that's what small businesses are defined as. They're really 2 employees, 3 employees. But not just the businesses, the employees themselves. The employers can also offer this to their employees as a benefit. They can offer to their employees, this is a benefit that the employer can offer and say, hey, you can deduct this out of your pay. It's for less than 80 cents a day, $24 a month. You will have legal representation at your fingertips. You have an app. You're somewhere in the country. Something happens to you on vacation, whatever. You can take a picture. You can send it to your firm, and they'll get back with you that same day. And you will have somebody who can represent you. You're being mistreated in a hotel. They're telling you can't do this. All that can happen for you at the apps that are on your phone. In today's society, that's how quickly things happen.
And it's just like having insurance for life insurance or health insurance or property insurance. You need legal representation, and Anthony, you definitely do. So the best place to contact you is on any of your social media at Anthony Griggs 53, or also your website, right, Anthony?
That is correct.
What is the website that people can check you out?
www.anthonyggriggs.com. www.anthonyggriggs.com.
Fantastic. Look forward to our next. We're going to kind of break down a lot of different things, from kids' advice for parents, but also legal advice, meaning legal advice of what to do if you're in that situation. And in scenarios like I just gave today about my Newt Gingrich situation, that you are going to be the guy that's out there speaking, and you're going to help others. And that's important, and that's your mission. And thanks again for calling.
Oh, thank you, Neil. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you're great in everything you're doing and everything that you're putting out there from the information. It starts with the knowledge. It starts with knowledge, and you're definitely giving it out to the people, and I want to help give it out too.
All right, Anthony, thanks for calling, man. All right, see you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.